Hey there, kids. It's me, Ohno the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Ohno radio show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up some cash, yo. $1, $5, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
Welcome back to another edition of the Ohno Wrestling Podcast. My name is Owen and I am your Sharp Break Kid. And back with me today, my good God, it feels like it's been like a year and a half since I've seen you on the show. But hey, it's only been a couple weeks in reality, but we are glad to have him back. The one and only Matthew, our modern day Maharaja in the building. Buddy, you're looking good, man. You're looking vascular. You got some definition. Look at that. You're looking good. Yeah. Looking
Hurt
good.
the knee, so I could only work the upper body.
I like it. Looking good. Neither of us are champions anymore, Matthew. Unfortunately.
You're still a champion in my heart.
Well, and the many people around this great nation of ours.
I'm still traveling around the country without the belt, pretending like I'm kissing babies, signing autographs, hooting and hollering, doing my thing.
All kidding aside, didn't wrestlers used to kind of do that, like back in the territory days? They would pretend they were champions going into certain, like claim they were, and do autograph
signings.
I think they
did because it would give them a bigger pop, right? Or get them more money, right?
Oh, absolutely. They could probably sell more tickets, and they could probably, they would probably do better at autograph signings and all this type of stuff. But anyway, Duncan will be with us later on, the King of Bong Style, our current, Ohno Wrestling Predictions champion. And hopefully when we do SummerSlam predictions later on tonight, one of us can take it away from that dastardly man. I will say that. So anyway, a lot of... We will. One or two things might have happened since the last we had you on the show.
I think a couple of things happened.
Jinder Mahal got new music. That's a thing. Jinder Mahal.
I always liked his entrance with that music though. It was one of the better entrances.
It actually was. It was kind of a banger. That all
It really was the whole fucking thing. All the graphics and everything, especially the LEDs on the ground. It looked real fucking cool. It was one of the better ones, but.
A little unknown fact, or I mean, tons of people know this, but something that was unknown to me or just didn't really ever appreciate. Do you realize that he was the guy that Seth Rollins beat in the tournament for the finals of the tournament for the first NXT championship?
No.
Yeah. Isn't that bizarre to think about?
That is.
Seth Rollins beat Jinder Mahal to become the first NXT champion.
Well, with Riddle being out, bring in Jinder. Don't hinder him. Jinder, Seth Rollins too.
Yeah.
So I can bring it to SummerSlam.
The rematch we've all been waiting for.
The rematch I didn't know I was waiting for.
On bated breath. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I will say this with the things that, and if I'm jumping ahead here too soon, but you guys have been getting in all the fucking segues while I've been gone. I've been listening, and you've been doing a good job. Duncan's been hitting his stride too. But I will say, with a lot of the changes that are happening, I hope Jinder Mahal gets another push. because Veer obviously did not work out, is not working out.
No.
I know they've said they're kind of doing something different with him, or like going to show a different side of him or something. Whatever. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in fucking Jinder Mahal. I have always been interested in Jinder Mahal. He is the people's champ.
I feel
the
like
new people's champ.
And I feel like that idiot Shanky is just holding him back with his silly dances, and I don't think that Jinder needs to be associating with such
he needs to
evils.
Turn on him.
Yeah, he does.
Turn on him, bring that anger back. He needs to bring out his vascularness, you know, just all those veins, all those muscles, and just come back.
I want a babyface Jinder push, because I think he could be the next John Cena.
He could be an Indian John Cena.
An Indian John Cena. They've been looking to break into those markets, and he just might be the guy.
Yeah, he could be. But I will say too, I mean, I think that when I was listening to the podcast that you guys last did, right?
Our first post Vince McMahon retirement podcast.
Yes, exactly. You all were going through and talking about wrestlers that you wanted to get maybe some pushes and maybe some back to their normal names, or, you know, wrestlers that maybe have gone to AEW that maybe, you know, haven't worked out so well, or maybe their run hasn't been as great as we all thought it was going to be, right?
Changes in direction under the new Triple H leadership, we'll say.
Yes. So before I get into the talent thing, I would like to say this. There was a lot of talk between you and Duncan about Stephanie and, like, you know, Vince, you know, being in her ear, and, like, you know, what's it going to be like at Christmas dinner and things like that.
The higher power puppet master sort of theory. Like, is he still controlling things behind the scenes? Like, is that what you're referring to?
Very true. Yes, exactly. But the one thing I didn't hear you guys talk about is she's a co-chair and CEO with Nick Khan. Yeah. And I feel like Nick Khan would be one, even if she is taking that direction and listening, like, it maybe would be, and I don't know how he is personally, or like his personality or business acumen or whatever. I mean, obviously he's a good business person,
right?
He has a lot of money.
We know that part about him, but yeah, you're absolutely right. He, apart from that, we don't know a ton about Nick Khan at all, really.
Exactly, and so, like, there's a chance maybe there could be, because there's this co-head thing. Like, I was thinking, how long does that last, and does that cause a little bit of trouble? Would there be some differing in the way that they want to do things, and when does that cause stress, and when does that stress break the co-chair thing? And does that cause more harm to the WWE product as opposed to what everyone is thinking, which is it's going to be so much better? I don't know. It's just that opposite side of the coin that I wanted to talk about.
You bring up a great point in that, and everything that I have heard, and trust me, I am not, very versed in the ways of corporate businesses. I mean, I've worked for them, but I've never been in that, upper management type position. So I don't really know how this works, but I've heard, everything I have heard is that co-CEOs typically don't work for very long. Like this, it's kind of always like a doomed prospect when you have co-CEOs. It's
power play.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. At very least, you would have to kind of assume at some point maybe one of them takes just a different title so that they have different responsibilities. They're not, they're not directly in almost competition with each other or have differing interests. I also think that by that same token, the one blessing we have is that they've almost both removed themselves from the role that Vince McMahon did pretty much encompass, which was that of president, CEO, but also head of creative. No matter how much you can say he wasn't technically the head of creative, that might have been Bruce Pritchard or whoever it was, he was the head of creative. And having that at least under a different, in a different capacity with Triple H taking that role, at least let Steph and Nick Khan just handle the business side of the running of the organization rather than what I would call more of the creative direction of the company.
Yeah. Although I would agree with that. Although I wonder then when you look at the Steph Triple H, right?
Then you're right back to the same thing because
you're right back to the same thing. And I did read an article, I forget where, but an article about how there's like a lot of positivity, and who knows if this is true, with Steph being there and in the role she is, because she's always been very no nonsense, no bullshit. Like she will she'll go to death for WWE and her family and that money, right?
Yeah.
But she's also very supportive of the female wrestlers and the women's division, and has always championed that. And when she was younger, right, she wasn't as powerful as she was and things, and people kind of like were standoffish on her, or she was standoffish. But apparently, from the article I was reading, there's a lot of hope, because over the years she has been very, very adamant about the women's division, has been adamant about, pushing women and doing this sort of thing. So I wonder if we will see a change there, because obviously the tag titles, the Sasha Naomi thing, there's just a lot.
I think we have cause to be hopeful with the women's division in particular, because not only was Steph a champion for the women, like the bond that he had with all the 4 horsewomen in NXT, and how he was a huge reason for the big shift into the women's revolution or what have you. Like his style of women's wrestling, or not his style, but that style of women's wrestling being taken more seriously on NXT, of course, paved the way for that to happen on the main roster. So he's obviously a big, proponent of it as well. So if nothing else, I think we do see a lot more positivity in the presentation, of and taking, the women more seriously. And that must, in my mind, that's hopefully going to move into things just like more coherent storylines. Like I know things aren't going to change overnight, and nor kind of should they, because it would be jarring. It's not exactly the right business move to do, and best for business, of course. But you've got to think that even if it's not immediate, I think you start seeing a title shift certainly by the end of the year, and how maybe like just creatively and storylines and more long-term storytelling, whatever it is, I think you're going to see that moving forward towards this next Rumble and towards this next Mania. Like that's when we're going to really start seeing what the real impact of this is going to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I was thinking that too. It's like when you and I just were chatting the other day for a little bit, and we're kind of talking about it, and now talking about it, it's making drastic immediate changes is not good for business. No. I agree with that. And they have their big things that they can do, and they're at a perfect point. Like, I wonder how much of this is going to change any of the outcomes that maybe would have happened at SummerSlam.
Right.
Obviously, some matches are no longer there now just because of injury and such. But even if they just go with what they have and they didn't change anything, right? I think from there to Survivor Series, you start making some of those changes, right? And then Survivor Series to Rumble is when you really see it. And I think that like Rumble to Mania, that's like the whole new flip, right? That's like where you see everything kind of start coming together, right? They're going to start planting the seeds, like, and Trips like storytelling, he likes doing that and booking it that way. And he'll actually stick with something, I think, longer than Vince was, where he'll just all of a sudden drop it. And you'll also just lose it. I mean, I read an article the other day with like Alexa Bliss just being like, I don't like my character right now because my character is me. And like, I don't know how to just be me. And it's not a good character. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. Even though they say your character needs to be like you amped up. She was like, that wasn't always a thing. And now they're just telling me to be me. And she's like, it doesn't feel right. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking really lackluster.
Yeah.
It's really fucking lackluster. But it did get me thinking of a lot of people who could be coming back. Would Bray be one of those people?
That is an interesting thing. And I'm not sure what Triple H's relationship with Bray was like. I've never heard any stories of them. Like, you would never think of Bray being a Triple H guy like a Seth Rollins is, or so many countless others. So I don't know if that's something that they will aim to do. I'll tell you though, if we're talking best for business, it would I think it would make a lot of people happy. I think that it would actually be a huge re-signing for them to bring Bray back. And no matter what, when even the Fiend was at its best before they ruined him, it was awesome. We loved it.
Yeah.
It was cool as fuck. So if you could revisit that without, maybe just pretend some of that other stuff didn't exist. And it's WWE, so you can absolutely do some of that. You can absolutely, and with a supernatural gimmick like his, you can bring it back, no problem, and whatever. You don't
That's what I was thinking with like Alexa. I'm like, she still has the fucking doll, Lily, and I'm like, so I don't know. Somehow there is still a story arc where something could is there still some sort of of that energy in that doll that he comes back and he could totally. It's not that they need to relink, but
yeah,
he did say in the article I was reading in the interview with her, she had said that when he left, he had said keep it going,
keep it alive for me, basically. Yeah, keep it alive. Yeah, something like. I will say though that they have it seems like the last time I saw Alexa on TV, there was a whole segment, right, where she even addressed Lily and addressed it as, oh, that's just a doll. That was all in my head. Like she's fixed now, and it's like, oh, I still have the doll, but it's just a doll. So that kind of,
she's just a boring blonde hawk.
Right. I mean, at least bring her back to her old days where she was just she was such a good heel. She was such a good bitch. She played that role tremendously. I mean, there's a lot you can do with Alexa. I think she's a phenomenal talent, and I definitely don't see, I get it. You might want to, just creating a character for her is maybe not the right way to put it, but I think she just needs something more to chew on, right? She just needs something to work with. Give me an actual storyline, give me an actual feud, give me something I can work with, give me some direction. What is my motivation character wise? What am I doing? Why am I this way? Who am I? I mean, if you have just those little things, then you can absolutely sort of redeem her and rehabilitate her, not without an issue. I think you can bring Bray back. I think that Trips is not going to be as keen to, like you said, immediately abandon things, not have the shiny toy syndrome where it's hot one week and then, whatever, see you later, Fiend, or whatever it is. I think he would be a little bit more, willing to kind of see if things work for a longer period of time than maybe Vince McMahon would, but I don't know where you fit Bray in, right? Because I don't know that you want to. We've always said with him, he never really needed the belt. I think it would be a mistake, obviously, to have him beat Roman or something like that. So I don't know where you
bring him back at the Rumble as a surprise entrant.
Yeah, and
then he doesn't get knocked over he doesn't win the Rumble, but he gets knocked over either by someone that's going to start the feud because he doesn't get beat, or it's a couple of people at once all go after him and get him out or something, which then leads him to now have multiple angles to go at, right? He doesn't need to win the Rumble, but that would be a good surprise entrant. People would pop like fucking crazy. I would.
There's always this back history. I know it would be revisiting it for the umpteenth time, but there is always the back history with Orton. And now you've got the Orton Riddle stuff. Could that be a potential way to bring him back in? You have him maybe feud with Riddle, because because Randy's out and all that. And then when Randy comes back, he can avenge for Riddle or something along those lines. And that being all said, could that even play into, the cancellation of the injury on the match at SummerSlam that we were talking about just a second ago? Because we all know that's a work. They've pretty much said, everybody, all the dirt sheets are saying no, Riddle's not really injured. They've just decided to postpone this thing until Clash at the Castle, I think is what they're thinking that match is going to appear on. Which is sort of shitty because I know card's subject to change, but that should be for actual legitimate travel reasons or
that match was,
actual injuries. Like, nah, you sold tickets under the pretense that match was going to happen, and you've decided that it isn't going to happen, not like some unforeseen circumstance, right? So,
or did they decide after Vince left and this is a creative change?
And that is entirely possible. Like, could that be a huge? I mean, that would be a huge statement for Triple H to make on his first pay-per-view, to bring back a character as, even if he's divisive, but a character as, you know, as big as The Fiend or Bray Wyatt. I mean, it would be huge. Yeah, it would be absolutely huge if something like that were to happen, especially if they were to be able to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, and they would have had to move really quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I mean, contracts, negotiations. I mean, fuck, man. That's not only is it a lot of money on the table, but like you're paying a lot of lawyers a lot of fucking money to figure that shit out for you.
You've also got to ask the question, what about Sasha and Naomi?
I mean, that's the rumor, right? Is that they want her back. I mean, I don't know how true the rumor is, but it would seem like you do want them back. I know Sasha wasn't. Did you hear how much she was like asking to book?
It was like something 30,000.
Yeah, it was like 30 grand, and like a lot of promoters who were doing the autograph signing were like, "Dude, I'll make that money back."
Yeah.
Like, and that's
it sounds like a crazy amount when we hear it, but I don't think it is. Like, I think it's like for someone of her magnitude, like I think she can demand it. Like, not everyone.
It's like one of the highest
it's
a woman has ever said. Which no, but good for her. Fucking get your, and especially when they're saying like, yeah, I'll fucking pay it. You know, good for her. Get your fucking money. You did the work. You built yourself up. You're fucking good for you. But she wasn't taking wrestling related bookings. Even like, I mean, she'd show up as, you know, for autograph, but like it wasn't going to be associated with anything wrestling until January 1st of 2023.
And if I'm not mistaken, too, SummerSlam is in Nashville, correct?
Yes.
Same city that they're doing Ric Flair's last match and StarCast. She is signed to do an autograph signing at StarCast, which is the following day. Now, that is something that typically WWE would never let them do, but this is an outside circumstance. And again, if Trips wants to make a huge, like, get a huge pop, make a huge like impact on his first pay-per-view, having the two of them come back would be massive.
And have them come back and
just from an optic,
belt.
And just from an optics perspective. Well, there are no belts. No one has the belts.
I know, but it would be. They could show up demanding them or something. I don't know.
They could show up demanding them. They could make they could just come out and not even like interrupt anybody. Like, they could literally, like, the belts could be ringside. They could literally come out, not say a word, or grab a mic and be like, "Oh, sorry guys, we forgot these." Grab the belts and then take them back, and then like.
Yeah, or have them sitting up in the cheap seats or something like that, you know, like the 300s, 400s, or wherever. I don't know how big the arena is, but like do that, and then they're like, oh, like they're like, yeah, I bought a ticket, you know, like blah blah, but like they bought some replica belts or something.
That'd be funny too.
They would never do that, but it would be funny.
But these things that we're saying, like, and this is what's inspiring, right? Like the things that we've always said WWE would never do that. They would never do that. Now we can be like, but maybe would they do that? But maybe Trips would do that. Like what you know, like things we could potentially see stuff that, like it's that feeling of, I mean, it's the same sort of shit that we got when Tony Khan came on the scene with AEW, that things don't have to be this way. Our WWE brain has trained us to think that this match should go this way, and this will be a screw finish or whatever. Now we can maybe just maybe hope for the best on occasion and have things, you know, come to fruition in a better way. Speaking of Triple H being at the helm and maybe plans that were clearly under the way prior to his departure and prior to this guy's injury, but do you think this has any long-standing implications with Cody Rhodes? And do you think the direction of his quote-unquote push will change at all? Because I know there is obviously some weird tensions between Triple H and Cody, right?
There probably
you would
are.
think.
I think that they're both pro enough to fucking talk it out and put it aside and say this is what's best for business, I would think. And I would also think Cody has some shit in his contract that says I'm booked a certain way.
Yeah.
And like in the way that he's like done his little winks fucking emojis and like trying to like, oh yeah, PG-14, yeah, wink, like
yeah, that was all
fucking,
me.
Yeah. Oh wait, yeah, really?
Because I gotta
Triple
bleed.
H is yeah, Triple H is creative, like fucking now. So I agree, there is that tension, but I think that they're both fucking at points in their careers where they're big enough men to be able to be like, hey, this is where we're fucking at. We need to fucking move forward or this is not going to work for one of us. And we are both going to fight like fucking hell to keep doing what we've been doing. So, you know, I think that that's where it comes to. And I think if I see anyone who maybe has the ego enough to keep pushing that, that's one Cody Rhodes. Whereas Triple H is fucking married into the family and the fucking dynasty. So as much as Cody Rhodes can say there is more than one family of pro wrestling, like Triple H is married into the family that like that fucking built the house.
Yeah.
You know?
You're 100% right. It's also not forget whether it's true or not, but Cody has said like time and time again that Triple H is his favorite wrestler. Like he said that a ton. Now whether that's just him trying to butter up Triple H or what, you know, like for a possible when he possibly returns, whatever it is, I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of questions there.
There's a lot of questions there. I will say a couple of the wrestlers that you guys did bring up though before we move on. Listening to you all talk, I disagreed with in my mind.
Okay.
And so just to give the opposite side of the coin, there was a comment, I don't know which one, but it was something about Adam Cole, baby.
Right.
And I think he's been doing great with what he's been had. And I think right before this injury, he was, I mean, dude, everyone is so invested in his fucking entrance and him getting there. He is wrestling well. It's just, he's not a fucking huge big dude. He doesn't seem like he can be in that main event picture, right?
Yeah.
Like as much, and I love him. I'm wearing the fucking Super Click shirt, right?
Yeah.
And I just think, I don't know of him going back to WWE, which I wouldn't mind, but I don't think that makes him any bigger of a star. I think he's going to make himself a bigger star, whether he's there or whether he's in AEW. But I think that he's going to have to keep doing what he's doing and prove it. He has the people's support and things, but like, I just don't think they bring him back. And what are they going to do? They're not going to book him into the main events. Like that would be the heavyweight title,
unless they do. That's the thing, though. Like if they were to do that, then it could possibly be a Cody Rhodes like reemergence in WWE, especially of course with how much Trips was behind him and how strongly he pushed him in NXT. It's not out. I definitely don't think it's outside the realm of possibility, but I want to say I read the other day him and quite like it was a number of people that signed around the same time of him. Like they're locked in for like 5 years with AEW.
Till 2025.
Yeah. So you know, okay, so 3 years. Still, that's it's a long time. You know, we got a long
time. Yeah. I mean,
and who knows what can happen.
They asked him and he was like, yeah, he's locked. Like that's not even a conversation.
Yeah, it's not even a thing. What about Gargano? Do you think that's a possibility?
I definitely see that being a possibility just because we don't know what he's doing, right? And he's been off, you know, they've had their baby and, you know, he's been taking time off.
Could he come back against Seth and do the thing at SummerSlam?
Exactly. Right. There you go. So I see that as a much bigger opportunity right now. Again, I don't hate the Adam Cole thing. I just wanted to stand up for him a little bit over on that side. Right. Cause I have enjoyed good, like not everything in AEW, but I've enjoyed good chunks of his run in AEW.
I think it started off great, and I think it just petered off a little bit, and it might all be to do as well with what they probably had planned with the Bucks and Kenny and all the stuff before Kenny got injured. So I do think that plays into it.
And I think right before he got injured again, before Adam Cole got injured, like him and like with what they were doing as that group with Red Dragon and like, I think that was starting to be something, because I had said, like, I was joking around, like, at that point, Kyle O'Reilly was my wrestler of the week.
Yeah.
And like now next week, I think both of them are slated to come back or something. Bryan Danielson just came back. I mean, now it feels like, but they were able to do some cool things. And we can talk AEW in a second. There's one more wrestler I want to talk about, but they are doing some cool things. Obviously, Hook taking the FTW.
Yeah.
Some of the things that have happened on the last Dynamite we can talk about. But I will say the Andrade thing, that when you guys were talking about it, it gave me fucking flashbacks to when we were talking about when he was going to join AEW, and it was so hopeful and everything. And I was like, yeah, I just don't think it's going to happen for him.
Anywhere? It's just never.
I just don't think that like he's that fucking engaging and entertaining to me. Like as much as I wanted him to be, and as much as I thought he could be, it's not. And I really could care less if he's there or not. There's
just an element, like he ticks so many of the boxes, but the ones he doesn't tick are so important. And it's that unspoken it factor. It's there. If there was maybe a tweak to his character to some degree that we don't have, like he needs. You know what he needs? Right. You know what I think it is, and it's a weird one because I wouldn't say this for many other people, because the English barrier is always going to be something, right? But he's been trying, and he's definitely like been improving.
He's been trying, and you can get a manager or someone to speak and then let them do their thing.
You know what he needs, and I'm not talking stereotypical like comedy wrestling stuff. No, but he needs is a sense of humor. It's the stuff that MIRO had behind him a little bit, where he could still be this badass, but he could still have this smirk on him, or he could still have this expression. He could still make you kind of chuckle at his cheekiness or something. Like if Andrade had something that was a little more akin to that, then I think that he would connect with audiences a lot better. He doesn't connect correctly.
So you just made an amazing point. That is a very good point. And what it gets me thinking is when I watch him and he's doing promos, right? And like, you think, what is that it factor? It's not connecting. Like, is it an it factor in Mexico? Like, because we're from a different culture, right? Like you talk the language barrier, whatever. Like, is the way that that's presented and the way that he was brought up in the culture that he's from, does that connect with them?
And also their experience to him and how much that they obviously know him prior to even going to NXT or anything like that. So he might have a much stronger connection outside of North America, or well, not North America, because Mexico, North America. But outside of just United States.
The United States, continental United States, where maybe that's a thing, because like you said, it's not like I hate him at all. I had a ton of high hopes for him going into AEW.
He's fucking good. I mean, go back and watch that Cody match, right? The fire match and all that shit. The match it's awesome. It's a great fucking match. So probably didn't need to,
So I'm not shitting on him. It's just when you guys were talking, I had flashbacks to how I felt about him going to AEW. And I think that happened quite a few times for all of us with people going to AEW, right? And I think sometimes the booking in AEW is to blame, but I think sometimes those wrestlers we put so much, we thought they were going to be the next thing, or like we wanted them so much. And I think that this is, I forget.
Well, there was so much hype with him as well, because they were and are still desperate to maximize on the Latino demographic. And having him as kind of that guy was like, oh, he's going to be like their next big push, because they want to really like nail that. They've since actually like moved on with, like, I would say Santos Escobar as being kind of that guy, and will be that guy. Now that guy oozes charisma. Fucking put the two of them together and you might have something, honestly. I also thought that there's great potential because Garza, right? Garza oozes potential. There was a period where they were together, and that was working. And then they got, then Zelina and all that. Like, you could literally put all those people back, and you could make something work. Like, you can do something with that. But he needs something. And I struggle with exactly what that something is, but he needs something.
He does.
He's also like, remember when he first got to EW, he changed his style completely. Like, he bulked up. He started wrestling like a bigger man. He was doing far less of like the acrobatic luchador stuff.
Way far less. And I think we all talked about that.
Yeah,
when
we did.
Happened. We were like, yeah, it's a lot. And he looked a little stiffer doing it because it was a little newer to him, right? Yeah. So I think
he might be on this weird, like, he might be on this journey, like, where I think he's experimenting, and maybe some growth outside of the WWE system will help him. But even if he doesn't go back to WWE, I don't know that he's, like, ever gonna have, like, a crazy amount of success in AEW, and I don't know that he, say that his contract is up in 2025. If he's exactly the same level where he is right now in 2025, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm not re-signing him.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah, definitely not.
Back to AAA with you, like whatever it is, or CMLL or whatever. But do whatever you got to do, but not going to stick around.
Well, I think that also what we were talking about was, so also real quick, you guys did talk about MJF and like that whole thing. I don't want to harp on that. I'm wondering, are they actually holding all of that off until fucking Punk comes back? Is that why we haven't heard anything? Like, is that why it's radio silence?
I think that's exactly what they're doing.
I think that's exactly what they're doing too. So moving on, what I was going to say about this thing about, that feeling of Andrade plus so many other people who have gone to AEW, right? Where sometimes it worked out great. Other times I think we all felt it was a little lackluster, right? And that got me thinking, because I read an article, and I can't remember what these fucking articles were, but I've been reading them, obviously, and it's whatever dirt sheet I was on, right? And I feel like, God damn it, I feel this is going to be the first time I fucking maybe say that I fucking was reading a Cornette thing. And it happens. You get on those sheets.
Cornette's not always wrong. He's actually more right than he's wrong on a lot of stuff, so.
Although in the group, I thought it was funny. Someone recently posted the picture of the Ninja Turtle
match.
Yeah, and they're like, "This is the same guy who fucking booked this," and it's like, fair point. Well played.
Yep. I think it's a gimmick, by the way. I honestly think everything he's doing now is a gimmick.
You commented that, and I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be. It's got to be. That's his. Yeah,
he knows how to rile up the people. He's just living in kayfabe, and he's making money off of them, and it drives the smarks mad, and that's
he feeds off it. He loves it. He's the ultimate heel.
Exactly.
So, but whether it was him or whether it was someone else, they were saying that like everyone says they want change, and I think it had to be him because he was talking about Austin Theory, but they say they want someone in the push to the main event. They want someone new. They want this. And he's like, but as soon as you all get them, it's like
you shit all over them.
It's like not him.
Yeah, but not that one. Not that one.
That one. Not that one. I want it'd be better. It's like we always have this also, like the grass is always greener. Like, we're projecting all this stuff onto someone or something, and then you get something else and you're like, I don't know. So when those types of things start happening, right, it's how often is it us as fans expecting things that aren't there, right? Or how much of it is the wrestler, or how much of it is the promotion, right? I think there's like three connections there, right? In order to make it all work, and it's up to all of them to kind of work together. Obviously, the promotion and the wrestler have to work well to fucking please the fan, but the fan has to interact. So
and you might put all your money into this guy and all this promotion into this dude, and it just not work, and the fans not connect. And that's just, maybe that's a risk you take too, but that's also something that's like, well, you can't like immediately like back out on Theory because we put so much time and we put so much effort into him, and like we've got him into the spot, so we can't like pull the plug right away on it either.
Yeah, we got to see if he can do it.
Yeah,
like,
now we got to
you got to let it run. Even if your Trips, your fucking Steph, Nick Con, like whoever is calling that shot, you gotta let it run
for now.
You have to see what he can do with it.
Because people are gonna shit all over it if he like goes in for a cash in and the cash in fails, and now like we're back to square one with Roman, Brock, whatever it is, right? Like so even if we do that, like they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Like that's honestly what it is. A guy that I think is in a similar type of position right now that AEW is taking their chance on, probably because they've heard a lot of groundswell of support for him is one Ricky Starks. And
that babyface turn.
And this past week,
fucking great
was first off, I think it was either last week on Ohno Wrestling's last week's show or the one before it. I came around on Ricky Starks and I was like, okay.
You did say that.
Like, I think
not the last one, the one before.
I'm like, I think I get this guy. I think it's
you
working.
100% said that, and it was very poignant that because you guys recorded, so that's what it was, because you recorded not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, and so you guys weren't watching Dynamite, but you said that, and so then this Dynamite that happened, and I did think back to you saying that when I watched it, and I was like, fuck, I was like, this was all well done.
It's
really well fucking done.
They got me.
Like, I started liking him more.
Yep.
Like, you know, even when like, and I loved like the little things, even like when in that match with the Bucks, right? They're on opposite teams, but like when he got up and they were in the middle and he like tries to get them to do that before and he like did his little
his
like,
pose.
Yeah. I thought that was fucking great.
It was great. No, everything that they've been doing with him has been hitting, and it's been subtle. Like it's been a subtle babyface turn that's been happening for the last few weeks that we didn't see up until the moment that we saw it. And like obviously,
and it was perfect. It did great for Hook, and it did great for fucking Ricky Starks.
Everything about it was great. You know, the squash of Danhausen was exactly what it needed to be. That to have the connection then with Hook to come out to be wearing the orange Taz shorts to win his dad's belt was all good. The show of respect from Ricky to Hook after the fact. They're still boys, insinuating that they're both in Team Taz still, one would assume. And then it was a double whammy of the term, because before Hobbs, you know, obliterated Starks, the promo did the work. The promo did the work first, and it was such a great way to also elevated the hell out of the FTW belt. Yep. It helped Hook, like you said, it helped him, it helped Starks. It really solidified this baby face turn. And then if you want to solidify and pour concrete all over it, the powerhouse Hobbs trucking him and you know beating him up, and one would assume they'll feud for a little bit and whatever, and one would assume Hobbs is now out of Team Taz, and one would have to assume, because of how over Hook is, Team Taz as a whole is a face stable now, so like the whole stable has turned face. But is it a stable? Because there's two of them. So there's that part. Like, did they dissolve that whole thing? Does that just kind of go away? Like, do they bring someone
It might be about time for it to go away.
I feel like they might that one might disappear. But then again, what a silly time to do it with a trios tournament coming up. And one would think that they might be great in contention for that, seemingly, as they didn't win the tag team titles, which they were just in a match for. So you know, obviously, you disband. You have Hook and Starks maybe with someone else go into that trios tournament. That could work, you know, no problem. But even if they don't do that,
Hook,
I'm
Starks,
fine.
And Danhausen.
Don't be surprised if that actually happens, and they won't, and they won't win it, and that's fine. But
no, they won't. But what a great way to fucking even continue to send Hook if you did not do Danhausen, but you got them to win those trios titles, and then he's carrying the FTW and the trios.
I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they will,
but it would be.
And Hook, and they needed to do something to revamp Hook a little bit. Like it was.
They did. did you see the backstage segment with
Taz?
Yeah, like, so I can only imagine, like, I don't have kids, right? Like, I would need a fucking girlfriend first. You gotta start there. But it's like if Bella went out and won a championship, I'd be screaming that shit from the rooftops. I'd be like breaking glass and slamming beers. I'd be, it would be amazing. I'd be so proud of her.
Yep.
And I'd be like, I don't know when you were training, but you did it.
You did it.
But like the way he was talking, and Taz for being a commentator, and we've heard him talk so much, and like I could tell. I don't know if you could tell, but I could tell, like, he just was pausing more, and like
he was getting a little choked up. Like
he was getting a little for as much as a tough guy as Taz is, was gonna get choked up on camera
in a
he's
fake
not, like,
sport,
tearing up. Like, yeah, exactly. But what he did say, which I thought was kind of cool, and I was like, man, just imagine being in Hook's shoes. Like, you did grow. He was like, he grew up seeing that belt on a mantle,
and that's probably 100%
true. Exactly. So imagine growing up seeing that, wanting to be a wrestler, and then being able to hold that title up in front of a bunch of fucking fans,
and in front of your dad,
and in front of your fucking dad, like, and have everyone fucking going wild. Like, that's got to be a pretty cool feeling. So good on him.
Good on him, but better, back to Ricky Starks again, better on him for being able to cut that promo. That promo was fucking mint. And this is why that they probably will just dissolve Team Taz. Hook needs to do his own thing. Starks, it's his time. He needs to do his own thing. Put that, like, it's tough right now because what does he go for? You know what? Push him to the moon. Have him take it off Mox. Have him be the next world champion that maybe drops it to Punk.
Because you don't think Jericho is gonna get it.
Not at all. Not at all. No way in hell.
Especially as the Lionheart.
No way in hell. I don't see Jericho winning that. And maybe if it was on the pay-per-view, maybe if they had like committed to, Punk's not gonna be able to make it back for All Out, we've got to really build something, and then they throw Jericho into that role, and then maybe. But even still, I don't think it would happen.
Or
but
because
it's on TV.
An interim, right? It's
right.
on TV. It is a break at the lake or whatever the fuck they're calling it.
Quake at the lake.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're over calling things like your Firefest and your Fight for the Fallen.
It's too many at once. I don't mind like the special thing, but like it's not special anymore because it's every week.
Fire Festival.
Yeah, they need to stop with that.
There's so much, they just need to stop it. And I think you guys did say it on this last podcast. I think like they need to do away with like the Fighter Fest. And
Stump branding.
I just think also like it was fine for the one time they did it, but like it like
ship sailed
when
bro.
They did. And I think I said it, if I were to go back and listen, I'm almost positive I said it when they did it the second time. I was like, why are we doing this again?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, I agree with what you guys said. Like
it was almost irrelevant by the time the first Fighter Fest came out, because it was like 3 months after the documentaries came out about Fire Fest and all that. And so by that point, like the zeitgeist had already kind of fallen off that, but it was just close enough. We'll give it to you.
Just close enough.
We'll give it to you. But yeah, a year or 2 years. You
don't need all of these.
No. You
don't need to name Quake by the Lake. I don't need it. But what the point I'm getting at is, what if it would be great for Starks. You want to push him to the moon, you do have him beat Mox. I agree with that. But if Mox can't take that, or if they have other plans for Mox, right? Just hear me out. Something with JAS that fucking gets it so that he wins it, because it's like he was very clearly Jericho calling it the interim title.
Yep.
And Mox said not the interim. He was very clear to say that.
It's interesting how they're doing that, right?
It is very interesting. And so with that,
and to your point with this, before you finish your statement, I don't think that's by accident.
No, it's definitely not. I don't think it's by accident either.
This is a clue that's going to play into something a lot deeper later.
Yep. We're going to talk about this at some point down the road. So I'm glad we both are on that same page. But what if Jericho, something happens with JAS, Jericho wins that interim title, Jericho could easily fucking lose to Ricky Starks, and Ricky Starks could take it, and that would be much less of a loss than I think Mox, unless you're really pushing Ricky Starks to the main event.
Yeah. I think he's there. I think he's at the point, seriously, where he can skip the mid-level TNT title. I think he can just about do it. I think he can do it. It's obviously they've turned him face. It's good that they have, but I'm struggling. I mean, again, we're gonna have a Hobbs thing, for a little bit, because that just clearly. Yeah. But after that, I'm struggling to see that trajectory of where that goes.
And then or when it happens, an MJF Starks main event for a title somewhere, no matter who has it, I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. That would
and
actually,
I could see them both
work.
Fucking putting on a banger.
Yeah, there's gonna be something, and I wonder back to the interim title thing. I wonder if, because it doesn't sound like Punk's doing very good, and I don't think that recovery's going as quick as maybe Tony Khan had potentially hoped.
Yeah, he's like, fuck, you are an old man.
Fuck, god damn it. I paid you how much? Mm-hmm. So this might be even a little bit of a teaser into, at some point, CM Punk's not back for just too long, and that interim title just becomes the title. Punk is essentially forced to relinquish. It becomes the title, and then when he comes back, he gets first dibs on a shot, something like that, right? On whoever has it.
Something like that. Or now that I think about it, or is it just that because Moxley is so against, he's like, your sports entertainer shit, is it because he's like, I'm not even gonna fucking call it that. This is the fucking title.
It could be.
Maybe.
It could.
I don't know, but it was done on purpose.
It was done on purpose.
100% done on purpose.
Yeah.
I hope it's for a larger thing down the road.
I do too. And I'm not even that mad about the Jericho Mox thing, because there is still kind of unfinished business there if you're Jericho, right? There's and they do have a fucking pretty deep history in their careers that goes back, and their matches have always been pretty damn good. As silly and gimmicky as, of course, that Asylum match was in WWE, the Ambrose Asylum, you still got to remember that Jericho took a shit ton of thumbtacks that he has never done before in his career to be in that match with Mox. And that's not something you do without respecting the guy that you're across the ring with. So you got to think that they can do some cool shit together. And it will probably be that match will over deliver for what it really should be,
Well, except for the only thing that scares me is that one, also we know Mox is going to bleed, but Jericho has a broken nose. So it is 2 weeks away, but I don't know. I've never had a broken nose. I've never looked into it. I'm actually going to Google how long it takes to heal a fucking broken nose. But I would assume more than 10 days.
What if he comes out in the Undertaker,
the
orbital? Remember when the Undertaker got the orbital injury and he had black mask, the gray mask thing? What if he has something like that? I mean, he could play it off with the whole sports entertainers. Or it's like a lion. It's a lion mask as the Lionheart.
Yes.
It's something stupid like that would have. I just had a thought as well. And I don't know if this will ever happen, but
I'm very surprised too by these results.
Yeah? How long?
A broken nose. Fucking first thing I typed in, how long does it take to heal a broken nose? First thing that pops up, and I will do a little more digging. But a broken nose usually heals on its own within 3 weeks.
So he might be just fine.
That's the fucking timeline. That's 3 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, cutting it close, but fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, I just thought of something the way they're portraying Blackpool Combat Club is interesting, because they've almost all got a different heel or face trajectory. Technically, I guess you can call them all tweeners, but Mox and Claudio are way face in comparison to, in my opinion, Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson.
Oh, 100%.
Bryan Danielson, yeah,
he's a fucking...
He pretty much should be a heel. Like, he is kind of a heel.
He should 100% be a heel. And then you read his interviews where he's talking about how he's like, yeah, I'm a fucking bully.
Yeah, he bullies the Big Show and Mark Henry.
Yeah, bully the Big Show, yeah.
Jumps on his back and chokes him out.
That guy.
Which is hilarious, by the way.
It is hilarious.
But yeah.
He tries to. He also said he tries to take out fucking Jake Hager.
Yeah, just for shits and giggles backstage. All that stuff cracks me up. And I'm sure they have a pretty good laugh about it too back there. And I don't think he's like a real genuinely bad dude. But
I'm sure he tells it like it is.
Yeah, and like in kayfabe wise, like he's most certainly the most heelish of the group. So what if you could eventually, because I do think there is a time where Danielson should have the world title. I definitely think he should, and I think a Starks face, face Starks versus a heel Danielson match is money. And what a way to put that kid over, right? Like, what a way to...
Huge way to put that kid over,
So, I don't know. That's just off the top of my head, but...
Yeah, Ricky Stark's very much becoming a new AEW pillar.
Kind of like my new guy. Like, I'm going to be behind him. Like, whatever happens, like, I want to see him succeed now. Whereas... And I will be interested in watching him. Whereas before I was like, he's never been bad. He's never been like... But he's never been just like... I've never been like super excited. Oh, cool, he's on a card. Now I can be. You've given me the reason to be. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him moving forward. I also found it interesting that we've had very little Wardlow since, he had a couple huge things. He did all the security guards at one point. Yep.
Well, that was before MJF. He did all the security guards
before MJF?
Yeah, but then he's done a couple of things, but he hasn't. But then he has kind of fallen off. He hasn't been on the last 2 weeks. I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. I feel like it's 2 weeks. So that's
definitely,
that's sort of a little concerning to me. Like we gotta get that train back on the tracks, or figure out some direction of what to do with him. If it wasn't for, and this actually perfectly segues into my next thing I wanted to talk about, but if it wasn't for the House of Black and Miro's new sort of like feud or interactions, I'd say Wardlow Miro feud would be like that would be great.
That'd be good. Two big broad men fucking just brickhousing into each other.
Brickhousing the fuck out of each other, yeah. I mean... It would be pretty cool. I think that's a money match. But what do you feel about the Miro House of Black thing? What direction do you expect it to go? But what direction would you like it to go?
If I'm being honest, I wish it wasn't happening
at all. Not into it. Not into it.
It's okay, but
is it either one of the two parties, or is it just all of it together?
I think it's both. I think they didn't know what to do with either of them, and it does feel they're all doing so well.
Yeah.
So let's just do something with them till we can figure out or finish storylines and do some other things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think is it just like feels to me that I'm just like, I don't need to buy into this because it's nothing. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel natural. I don't know why it's happening, but I feel like when I think about it, I'm like, they needed to keep them on TV and doing things.
I like it from the dynamic of like the religious connotations that they have in the background of subtext of it, right? Like with MIRO being the redeemer and like the light and the dark and all that sort of stuff.
I like when Miro's also walked out wearing sunglasses sometimes.
Well, he did that. Well, he got sprayed in the face with the mist, man.
Oh,
So remember he had not only were they just sunglasses, they were like one half of the sunglasses where he got sprayed in the mist was dark and the other half was lighter. Like, ooh, what's going on here, man? Like, I like it. I know they won't, but part of me does feel like it would be fun for like, say like 3 weeks to have MIRO as a member of the House of Black and like him like just playing it up, right? Because I know he would like have fun with it and he would actually like he would probably look pretty badass, but and then you could do a million things. You could easily have him like destroy the House of Black from the inside or something, something along those lines. But I think you got some great matches with all three of the House of Black.
I do think with him and with MIRO and them, I will say that
Matthews,
you are gonna get good
Brody.
You're
King,
gonna get Brody King and fucking
Malachi.
and Malachi. And I think that's not the thing. It's just the story line. But now that you like tell it like that, and like we started talking about the sunglasses stuff, I'm like, okay. Like I like that. Like I don't know, the edibles kind of kicked in, but like also I'm like, okay,
all right, that's dumb enough. That's wrestling.
Yeah, but that's wrestling. It's clicking now. But I'm back. Okay, now I'm back to being a child. Yeah. Okay, right.
I saw a good one. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, so I was just gonna say that, but it does feel just kind of like they didn't know. Maybe, but they will have good matches. So.
They will. I saw that Julia Hart, who like is never appearing with the House of Black, but it's the House of Black. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know if this was.
You posted a picture of her on Twitter. I saw like on my because I just follow a bunch of wrestlers.
Me too.
And stuff. Yeah, and I don't post anything, and like no one follows me. And so I was scrolling through, and there's a picture and she posted yesterday, I think, and she's wearing like all black, like the dark eyeliner, and she's like in the woods, like crouched down or like off a trail, and I'm like, okay, so you're still doing
playing
this.
The gimmick. She's definitely playing the gimmick. Yeah. Now I was confused, and I think you've almost just answered my question because she posted, and it's kind of funny because she posted, what was it? It was, sometimes I miss my old job at Jamba Juice. And and if you were in the House of Black having to do all like, God damn it. Like that.
Yeah. She's like, they're making me study the occult. Yeah. Like that type of shit.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Fuck, I'm supposed to like learn tarot.
Oh yeah.
Like,
exactly. It's just I don't know what
like, I don't know Norwegian gods and demons. Like
I asked you, Alistair, did you want turkey with cheese or just the turkey? Stop talking about this Norse god.
Fucking Jamba Juice.
Anyway, let me play some things I got for you because I told you I had a couple of things here, and we're gonna be talking to Duncan here relatively soon, I would imagine. And I want to take a quick break before that, so we'll kind of wrap up our little part of the segment with this. Then we'll come back and we'll do some predictions and whatever else we fancy. But we all love a little bit of Mikey Ruckus. Mikey Ruckus is, of course, the guy that creates all the theme songs for AEW. I think he's done a great job on most of them, and he's been like just on his own time. He's been releasing these TikToks and I guess YouTube shorts of this series he's called Real Eddie Kingston. And you remember the old Real Man of Genius commercials? Yeah. So he started doing his own, but for Eddie Kingston. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them out right now. And they're more of an audio thing. So I'm just gonna play the audio of it and just let you hear it. But these are great. So this is part 1, and it's called Eddie Doesn't Dance at Parties. So that's
okay.
All right.
Ruckus presents Real Eddie Kingston. Real Eddie Kingston. Today we learn that Eddie Kingston doesn't dance at parties. Eddie Kingston doesn't dance at parties. No No, sir, Eddie is that dude that doesn't dance. He just pulls up his pants and does the rock away. Lean back, lean back, lean back. You see, Eddie, if it wasn't for you opting to hold up the wall at a kickback, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn wouldn't be able to act out the final scene in You Got Served. Today you suckers got served. So here's to you,
Wish I knew that reference.
Because you let all of us know that the one that doesn't move is the realest in the room. Eddie Kingston doesn't dance at parties.
That's fucking Eddie Kingston doesn't dance at parties.
It's great.
That's fucking awesome.
So there's two more. They're all quick. I'll do this next one. This was Eddie Kingston holds the door for strangers.
Ruckus presents Real Eddie Kingston. Real Eddie Kingston. Today we learn that Eddie Kingston holds the door for strangers. Eddie Kingston holds the door for strangers. Yes, sir. Eddie is that dude who offers his manners to guide you through an establishment, whether it's the ladies Let me get that man. Or the gentlemen. I got your partner. But don't get it twisted. If you see Eddie at the threshold clearing the entryway, at least have the courtesy to thank him or face certain wrath. You're welcome. But next time get your round door, you stupid So here's to you, Eddie Kingston. Because we know that although chivalry isn't dead, it can still be accompanied by a 3-piece and a soda. Eddie Kingston holds a door for strangers.
That's fucking awesome, dude. That's fucking awesome.
I know.
Has he responded to any of this?
I don't know. I think him and Ruckus are boys, so I think that I think he loves it. He probably loves it. I want to see his response to some of these. There was a third, I think. Did I pull the third? Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, here's the third. Eddie Kingston and his New York accent. Here we go.
Ruckus presents Real Eddie Kingston. Real Eddie Kingston. Today we salute Eddie Kingston and his New York accent. Eddie Kingston and his New York accent. Forceful and brooding, Eddie's vocal cords are a blend of New York firefighter and the chain smoker window clerk from Monsters, Inc. I'm watching you without scare. You see, Eddie, because of your rugged baritone articulations and F-word placement, we no longer say, hold the freaking door. We say, hold the fucking door. Hey, yo, you talking to me? So here's to you, Eddie Kingston, because even though Ron Burgundy can make a Wolverine purr, we know you can make Thanos do a pole dance. Eddie Kingston and his New York accent.
Pretty good, though. Pretty good.
Fucking pretty great, man.
Absolutely. I'm
probably gonna wake up tomorrow and it's gonna be like the real Eddie in my head. It's catchy.
Oh, it's real catchy. It seems like
one day he should walk out to that as his.
Oh, they need to rib him one
music.
day and play it at a dark or something. Like when he's about to come out, his music starts. It just like drops into that or something. That's what they need to do. Real quick before we take a very short break.
Is Duncan in Gorilla? Is he?
Yeah, he's about ready to go. So,
right.
But I really need to pee and want to step out for a second. But did you know that Dwight Howard, the basketball player, was at the WWE tryouts today?
Really?
Yeah. L.A. Laker Dwight Howard, formerly of the Orlando Magic and the Houston Rockets. He was at the WWE tryouts, and he has said that he is serious about it, like after next season or something, that he's actually considering. He's my age. He's 36 years old. They could see him bringing him in for a celebrity match or something, but he's not even that big of a guy that
DDP, man.
Maybe.
DDP is that dude who came in later in life and like around his 40s, early 40s was actually popping off. I don't think everyone can do it, but yeah, I just looked this up. I had no idea that. Oh, God. I see what they're doing. He's going to be the new Omos.
Yeah, here we go. Here's this promo.
My name is not Dwight. My name is Shono. and I'm the Shogun Master of the South. Now where is this? What's his name? Terra Lane. Talking about you gonna come to the WWE and take my belt? The only thing you're gonna win is these nuts. Who's the master?
He did a D's nuts joke, and I hope this never happens, Matthew. I want this.
Also, what is the whole? How are you a Shogun Master of the South?
Don't read too much into it. I don't. It's best.
Was it all alliteration? Was that like, because before that his name started with an S, then there was an S. There's a lot of sibilance happening, and someone taught him how to talk.
Yeah, he's been really in them promo classes he must have been there when Dusty was there back in the day. Really getting all the good advice. Anyway,
well, I hope that goes to Kobe Bryant.
We'll leave you that for just a second. We're gonna take a short break, and we'll be right back in just a few. If you don't mind, Matthew, just stay online on the Zoom thingy, and then we'll be right back with some more Ohno Wrestling.